Welcome, everybody, to an episode of Cardano and Coffee. And today, our guest is Alfred from the Cardano Hotel. Now, Alfred, he's been a member of the Cardano community for a long time. He's the first business to first formally accept Cardano ADA as a form of payment back in 2017. And his hotel is located in Barcelona, Spain, right in a very downtown, very central location. And Cardano has been his both, and he and I share one thing in common, a lot in common actually. But the big thing is that we're both big fans of Cardano, and I'm looking forward to this call. Thanks for coming on the show, Alfred.
Thank you very much for having me, Mustafa. It's a pleasure.
Yeah, and today we're going to talk about why Alfred and I are so bullish, I would say, on Cardano, why we think it's a great investment for the long term. And we're also going to talk about what Alfred is doing in his charitable work. Alfred is doing quite a lot of work in the community, not only for the Cardano community, but also for the community of the world in general. He is helping with helping fight hunger in Bangladesh through his charitable work, and he's able to fund his charitable work through his stake pool. He's a stake pool operator. So, for those of you who are interested in learning about becoming a stake pool operator, I'll ask some questions about that for you today, about how you can start your own stake pool and be your own node, or we'll talk about staking in general for those who are interested in just staking your Cardano funds as well. So there's been actually some news in the community that I saw today about how IOHK delegation or IOG delegation is now going to the methodology for how they're going to be delegating
Mhm.
funds. It has changed. Are you familiar with that, Alfred?
I was completely unfamiliar with it just because I've been, very busy in my personal work and also doing many other things for Cardano. It completely passed me by. I had no idea until I saw a tweet in which somebody actually congratulated us on receiving a delegation, and took me by surprise. Also because we've already had one, and it turns out that now the system has changed whereby stable operators can nominate their colleagues. Apparently, we got nominated, so I can only be really happy and thankful to everybody. So thank you very much.
So I think they changed it so that instead of them giving just a single stake pool operators with small stake with small delegations, they're now contributing to they're sort of incentivizing to people who are building the Cardano community, who are building dApps, who are supporting the community in some kind of way. Although they didn't really define, like they weren't very specific about what the besides those three categories of supporting the community,
Yeah.
building. So yeah, I mean, I think. So what do you think about that? Like, what are some ideas you have to for people out there who want to start supporting community?
Well, I mean, like I said, it's the only thing that I know is that all the stakeholder operators were able to vote for their colleagues, and I think inside the stakeholder community, it does make sense because we know each other. Mostly like you live on Twitter when you have this stakeholder company, or you live on social media, and we pretty much know who's active and who's not and who's doing what. So therefore, to me, it does make sense, because I've also seen reactions from other staple operators that said, well, hey, how come we're not getting anything? But then when you check it, I mean, they actually hardly exist and there's not really any initiatives. So to me, it's not just about having set up a stake pool and then you have to be active. That's the whole point. That's the whole meaning of how Cardano works. You have to be socially active and bring some sort of value to your stake pool and just being part of Cardano. So I guess for the moment, we're trying it out. And like I said, I'm really thankful for the delegation, also because part of our entries, part of our revenue is going to a charity. So the more we make, the more we can delegate, the more we can send over to our charity.
Yeah, you told me a little bit about your charity. It's called Thought for Food. Can you tell me a little bit about that? How did that start?
Correct. Yes. So the story is that it takes place in Bangladesh, And the topic or the meaning of the charity is basically that we do food drops in the slums of the capital Dhaka and also other destinations. We're connected to an ONG in Bangladesh. I have somebody there who's a very intimate friend, and also works has been working with me for several projects for years. So he's on the ground, rather than a project. I didn't want to do a project where we just send funds somewhere and then let's hope it gets into the right hands, because again, this is sort of the whole idea about Cardano, to make sure that stuff does go into the right hands. So whereby the first couple of drops, we just interacted with the ONG and they distributed the food for us. We sort of paid them and then they went and distributed the food. Now Nazbul, that's his name, he actually went himself into the slums of the capital, and he told a story because, well, he had extreme poverty, that when he came there with all his lunch boxes and stuff, people were so desperate they actually jumped on him, and like a little fight even ensued about trying to get their hands on the food that was being distributed. Just makes you understand how urgent these things are. And in the future, we're hoping to, obviously, there are other systems whereby you try and make people help themselves, which is the purpose of Cardano. But the stage where we are at the moment is just to send over help and feed people, And then we have other things planned, but maybe we can get to that in a minute. So.
Really cool. By the way, I really like the setup that you have there. So that's over at your hotel in Barcelona, right?
Correct. This is the now dedicated podcast room, the Hotel Cardano Hotel podcast room, I should mention. And we've only created this in function of the Golden Meetup, which took place, if I remember correctly, in the weekend of 25th, 25 and 26th of September. And we want to have it ready by then, because the idea was to be able to also interview people that were attending the meetup inside the room, because we have like 2 tables, 2 sets of microphones. So we actually didn't manage to do it during the meetup. We had some small inconveniences on a personal level, but there will be another meetup this weekend, actually. I have Peter Nierop coming over from Holland, also known as the Statman, as I like to call him. He always provides the Cardano community with lots of statistics about who's there, how many are being delegated, how many wallets are growing, and he'll be coming over and he's going to do like little introductions to how to delegate, explain wallets, and such. So we're setting up a meetup page today, actually, and then we're hoping to get the same attendance as we had during the Global Meetup, which were actually 80 people, or maybe 90 people, divided over 2 days. Now it's going to be a 1-day event, so we're aiming for about 40 people, because that's all that will fit in our little, in our conference room here at the hotel, and also because of COVID restrictions. But the Golden Meetup was a great start, and we're definitely hoping to continue and to keep building the community here in Barcelona.
That's great. So that was the Cardano Summit in 2021, recently, right? That you hosted that event?
Correct. And we didn't only host it, we were also sponsored by the Cardano Foundation, and we also got partly sponsored by World Mobile, which, as you know, is one of the main partners of Cardano, of the project, who are building connectivity in Africa. So it's great. I mean, we just refurnished the whole room, and now it's like a real Cardano / World Mobile room, also for future events.
Yeah, so, a lot of exciting meetings are probably going to happen there. A lot of brilliant minds are probably going to be meeting and discussing things there. The state of Cardano, the state of the world,
yes,
the state of money, of economics. It's been a topic that I've been really learning, getting deep into this year and last year. I never thought I would ever learn this much about money and economics in my life. It's all because of Cardano and cryptocurrency that I'm deep in it now.
Same here. I mean, I never would have had this expectation. I was leading a relatively quiet and maybe touching on boring life as a hotel owner, and then suddenly we got introduced to Cardano in 2017, and everything went upside down, I mean, great, it's been a fun ride, loving it.
Yeah. So you get to meet a lot of people in the community. I think you mentioned that you've spoken to Charles a few times.
Correct. I actually met Charles in February of first days of February of 2017, because very brief summary of how that went. Because after we communicated that we were accepting ADA to by email, by Twitter, can't remember, to IOHK, we got in touch. They just so happened to have someone in Barcelona who came and interviewed us. Then it was transformed into a blog article on the IOHK website. You can Google it. You can Google, Hotel Ginebra IOHK, and the blog article will come up from 2017. That person also made the first payment in ADA here in the hotel. Charles liked it because obviously, at that stage, Anna was still in the very beginning stages, and also for them it was very exciting that there was this crazy hotel guy in Spain somewhere that out of the blue decided to accept ADA for payment. So, and they happened to have a workshop in Lisbon in the first days of 2018, just after we had started accepting ADA. So through the usual channels, they invited us. They said, "Oh, well, come over." We did. We met a bunch of people. We had dinner with Charles at night, and it was an awesome experience. And the train never stopped ever since. So here we are.
I'm pretty impressed by some of those videos, some of those video blogs that's on YouTube about your hotel. There's some walkthroughs stuff that I've seen that I liked. Actually, there was a nice one that was just put out recently by a girl.
Correct.
I
Joanna.
saw it, yeah, and I saw it over on Reddit. I'll link it in the description because I thought it was great.
Yes.
If you guys want to check out that hotel, but I personally have never been to Barcelona, Spain, but after seeing a few videos, I'm pretty excited to go.
You know what's so great about it, because it's not just any old hotel, because it might be 2,000 hotels in Barcelona. It just so happens that, first of all, it's a small hotel and it sort of embodies the spirit of Cardano, which is we have a very strong social aspect in the hotel. We always have a very deep interest in the people that are coming to the hotel. It's not one of those places where you're like, here's your key and see you when you check out. We actually get to meet people, because and this is also why people like to come to our place. And the other thing is, it happens to be located on the central square of Barcelona, which is the most important square, which is also very, very. I've never seen this anywhere in any city in my life, that the geographic location, most central point, also happens to coincide with the most important tourist site of the city. So Plaza Catalunya is really the heart of the city. It's unavoidable. Whenever you pass it, you always pass by. And actually what has been happening, to round it off, is that ever since people know that we exist, we have people coming through the door all the time. They just stay in other hotels and say, "Hey, I'm in Barcelona, but I want to see the Cardano Hotel." And they come in, we shake hands, we have a little chat, we take pictures in front of the Charles portrait that we have hanging in the lobby, and other things. And maybe by now there's maybe like 10 points where people they can make pictures of themselves or whatever. So yeah, it's one of those things that just had to be.
I think it's great, and I personally would go straight to your hotel if I'm in town. So look out for me there.
Looking forward, and make sure you give me a heads up, because of the location. We fill up we fill up rather quickly, and even more so now that we're popular with Cardano. So let me know before, and then you'll get the royal treatment. So.
So in 2017, that's when you first accepted ADA as a payment, as you mentioned.
Correct.
But when did you actually first get into crypto? And was Cardano your first crypto?
We actually also got into crypto in 2017. No, the first crypto, as it happens to pretty much everybody, I guess, was Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
We got introduced to it by a friend, Brazilian friend of mine. He's like a brother, and he's in Brazil. Always tries to invite me and convince me to come and live in Brazil. So he always wants me to invest and and then make a lot of money and go and move to Brazil. Previously, before Brazil went a little bit down the drain. But anyway, yeah, he told me about Bitcoin, and then I started asking questions. And at some point, I can't remember exactly what the question was, but I said, "What about this?" And he said, "No, Bitcoin doesn't do that, but that's altcoins." And I went, excuse me? And then he told me there's like a whole specter of, by then, then maybe like hundreds of altcoins, now there's like thousands. And it was very interesting to us because, like I said, we had like a fairly simple and sort of one-track life in our hotel. And suddenly we had this opportunity to open this virtual window and to look at all these new amazing projects. And so we started learning, me and my wife Yvonne, and it was great. It was like a new hobby, a new way of learning and whatever. And then I came across Cardano, and it was like a one-page article in which there was an image of Charles and the other co-founder. Then very simple, very basic, just explaining about what it is they want to do, how they were going to approach it, how they were going to activate a lot of universities. No hoo-ha, no, just straight to the point.
What was it for you that convinced you that Cardano was such a great investment?
No, it wasn't. It was just the beginning. It was just what came. It was what transpired. It was like the seriousness of the project, But then also, obviously, because I like the project. Then also, I thought these guys are going to make it. And in 2017, when we did make an investment in ADA, we got in very early. We get in some of it was like 2 cents, 3 cents, whatever. Not only Cardano, there was another couple of projects that we really liked. There was one called something with power, about being able to resell your energy to your neighbor with solar panels and stuff like that. We had like 2 or 3. Anyway, we just made a selection, and it just so happened that they all had like a social component,
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happened that shortly thereafter, Cardano took off for the first time, and well, it was great, Only later, after first the seriousness and the professionality, then came the investment. Only later we really started realizing about the social structure that Cardano was trying to give,
Mm-hmm.
because it also didn't really exist. But later we got like the Catalyst project, and I really understood what the end purpose was of the project, about going to Africa, creating new systems. It was like a slow growth of understanding and realization.
So you really saw and understood the vision, and it was clear.
No, not at the beginning. It took a while. I remember in the very beginning there was also like a questionnaire of Cardano. In the very beginning, they wanted you to read the website, and I went through the whole website, and it was very technical. Although I didn't understand a lot of it, I still sort of maybe understand these guys were on the right track,
Mm-hmm.
and what they were building was, solving all the problems that Bitcoin was experiencing, and even Ethereum, because by then I understood a bit about it. But then at the very, very end of the website, what it looked like then, after like 5 pages of technical information, which was extremely hard to digest, there was like 4 lines that said, and Cardano wants to go in Africa and change the world. But then they had a question, yes. So then they had a questionnaire that said, why are you into Cardano? I mean, they emitted this questionnaire. And I had read the whole website, so I knew the right answer, which was like right at the end, After reading like 5 pages, the right answer was go to Africa and change the world. And that stuck with me. And then I said, okay, it all made sense, investment-wise, technology-wise, socially, Africa, the whole package. So, and,
Amazing.
yeah,
it's incredible to hear how your experience transpired, because for a lot of people, it's not what you went through. But I think if people understand sort of how to understand how to look at things, how to look at investments, yeah, it needs to have more. It's not just about a money grab. It's not just about making money. It's about what's going to happen. Is how's the world going to change?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So we also are pretty big fans of Charles. He's going through Africa right now, going through all the different countries. So how's that been transpiring? Have you been following that, Alfred?
I'm actually I'm a little disappointed, because I was sort of expecting like a program, because usually he's very active on Twitter, and I was expecting to say, here I am packing my bags and I'm off to Africa tomorrow. But then it wasn't. Like, suddenly he's like, hey, I'm in South Africa and here I am. And I want to know what's going on, because I mean, this is exciting stuff, I want to know where he's going next. I want to know who he's going to meet. But I mean, apparently this time they're not presenting us with the whole program. So
Yeah.
we just have to stay tuned and follow the tweets and whatever comes our way, we're just going to watch it, because I'm extremely curious and excited.
It's hard to keep up with all the information. There's an avalanche of information that's coming out,
Yeah,
and unless you're directly plugged in 24/7, you're bound to miss some things. And with Charles, because he's so well known in the space, he's got so many people who are constantly, he's busy, and so
yeah,
unless he has like a couple of full-time social media people following him around all the time. I mean, I tried the whole thing with social media and like posting stories every day, and it's a full-time thing,
it
to
is.
create content on a
I
constant
know,
basis, even those little 30-second segments.
I know, I know.
Oh my
I
God.
mean, I can tell you, I have Cardano on my mind to the point where, I wake up often like 4 o'clock at night, and I just grab my mobile and just go, what's the latest tweet, and see if I can comment anything or add anything or,
Although
you know,
Cardano feed has been good, there's actually a new website that, I'll link it for people. It's a great resource,
like,
but it's a little, spammy sometimes, but they also, pretty much are on like it's a 24/7 roll.
no, I've been following it, I've been retweeting it also. Yeah, Cardano feeds, definitely.
Yeah, it's good. It's definitely something to plug into because
Yep,
Cardano itself is so huge that you can't. You have to focus on it. Like you have to dedicate time to just Cardano because it's there's so
yep,
much happening with the. And I
yep,
saw as like a slideshow the other day of how the ecosystem, like they have like every couple of months somebody comes out with one of these pictures with all the different logos of all the different projects that are in the
exactly.
ecosystem. And I saw a progression chart the other day, and it was like you just see it getting bigger and bigger, like it's unbelievable. And it's
Yep,
all within a short period of time, not like these projects, nobody even like less than a year ago, none of these projects were heard of, right?
it's
And
not
now,
like we didn't know this was going to be like this. It's just that people are so impatient because on social media, everything has to be immediate. Like show me, show me, show me. But I mean, it's not like that. They're actually working. They're creating software. They're programming. It's work. It's a job. It's not like some kind of revelation, like you pull it out of a hat. Pull like the rabbit out of a hat, and hey, here's smart contracts and here's DeFi, and it has to be created. So obviously,
yeah,
it takes time. So
yeah. I say thank God for people who can do that work because without them, there's no one's building, and I can't do it. So I'm very thankful for those out there who are building
yeah,
and supporting us in that sense, which is
right.
what IOHK and the Cardano Foundation are promoting right now. They're sort of, I see that they're starting to change gears now where they're starting to incentivize people to focus on building, and
Creating, yeah, in
yeah,
whatever way you can, yeah.
yeah. And I'm here to encourage people to go in that direction, whatever that might be for you. Whether if you're a programmer, coder,
Mhm.
then go that route, right? If you're
Right.
not, you can do what I do, what Alfred does, and you can build communications and content for the space so that people can interface with. So the way I see us is that we sort of interface between the technical world and the real world. So we're just sort of like these translators for folks who are not technical.
Yeah, with like a social megaphone, in a way.
Exactly. So it's
Mhm.
really important for people to do what we do. If you're a good writer, then you can write blogs. If you're a good speaker, then you can do podcasts. And there's always something for people to do. So now, if you want to get involved with the Cardano community and make some money to support your lifestyle, to support your purpose and cause, there's ways you can do that, by setting up either by staking your Cardano and earning 4 to 5%, which you're not going to get anywhere else, in a safe way. And the other way is you can become a node, which is what Alfred does. Now I don't know if that's something we'll be able to get into a lot of detail today, but because of that, right, Alfred, you're able to do all your charitable work, right?
Correct. We are donating part of the proceedings of the stake pool to our project we already described previously, which is called Vote for Food in Bangladesh. And basically, I mean, if the stake pool grows, then we'll donate more. You know, it's as simple as that. But not only that, if I can also make a little announcement, because we've done a couple of NFTs, because NFTs are also, you know, the fashion, and we like to sort of participate in whatever is coming our way. Since we did one NFT, which we sold, which entitled you to like a discount in the hotel. If you were to come and stay in a hotel, that would entitle you to like a 10% discount. So we done like 4 or 5, you know, sort of like a modest scale. But now we want to make a project. We're working on it. Might be launching even next week, whereby we want to also do NFTs. Well, general NFTs like art, digital art, and again, part of the proceedings will go to Bangladesh. But we're also planning on creating like another stake pool, so whereby the proceedings are going to feed the stake pool. So eventually, rather than donating, sending the money directly to Bangladesh, we're trying to create a money machine, whereby then the rewards of the stake pool would be the money that we would be sending to Bangladesh. So we're trying to, the idea is to sort of create like a self-sustaining mechanism, whereby with the more NFTs we do, the more the stake pool will grow, the more food the more money there will be available. Consequently, the more food drops we will do, because lastly, we're also going to do NFTs in Bangladesh, because we have a photographer on site who is making pictures of what is happening during the food drops, and we intend to also turn some of those magical moments into NFTs for a very, very comparatively very, very small amount, maybe like €10. But €10 goes a very, very long way in Bangladesh to buy, you know, food for a couple of people. So that's sort of like the new thing that we're hoping to come up with. If we can manage, maybe next week. So you'll be, we can hopefully look forward to that one.
How difficult is it to set up a node these days?
I have no idea, because I'm not technically inclined, and I'm not the one doing it.
Oh,
yeah, no, I'm not the operator. I'm the guy, you know, making the announcements and doing the marketing. But I'm actually in with somebody else who's a stake pool, like a technician, like an IT guy. He doesn't like publicity. He doesn't want to be, you know, he's taking care of all the technical stuff. So we're doing it together. So.
Interesting. I wonder if there's any stake pool technicians out there who'd be interested in partnering up with myself as well to do things do things like that you're doing with your stake pool as well.
100%.
Yeah. So I've actually spoken to a lot of stake pool operators, and I find that a lot of stake pool operators have an issue with the marketing aspect of things and attracting delegation. And so I hope to one day be able to provide some information on that, but I still need to get myself into the world of stake pool operators and understanding it from a more technical perspective to see how I can integrate myself into that whole thing. But there's a lot of people out there who certainly need help, and I want to provide, you know, free information to. At some point, I'd like to do something for Cardano stake pool operators as my way of saying thank you to the community.
Yeah, I mean, interesting enough, when we started doing the Cardano podcast, all the first 20 or 30 interviews, they were all stake pool operators, because that was also my way of giving exposure to everybody, you know, because there's so many, and everybody, in my view, is sort of rights to exposure. So as small as our podcast is, that was sort of how it started. I can't say much about where we are technically. I do know that things are evolving. From my tech guy, talking to him like a year ago in the IT, and talking to him now. Obviously now we're getting very close to like a one-button solution. You know, like here's your stake pool, click here, and then you have one. Not quite there yet, from what I understand. I know that there are some people out there that are providing services for people that are completely without any technical skills. They can set it up for you, and then they might like a percentage. As far as the marketing is concerned, you just have to find your own niche, you know, your own whatever turns you on. You know, we happen to have a hotel, which also now has a social function in the Cardano community. Yeah. And I mean, people clearly have a notion of what it is that we are doing, and then how we are trying to support Cardano also with the initiative that we are doing. Whatever works for you, you know. I can't
Yeah.
really tell you what to do, but wherever your interest lies, try and develop an interest. And I think you'll see that people will latch onto that. So.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of opportunities out there for stake pool operators to be able to attract more delegation. The one thing, like I mentioned in the earlier today, was that you can do things within the community and then you can apply for IOG delegation through their application process online. And then the other thing is you can just you can create content or collaborate with a creator, and and now with NFTs, that's there's a whole nother dimension to that as well. By the way, are you collecting NFTs now, Alfred?
No, really for a lack of time, you know.
Neither am I. So I still haven't gotten into it, but I am looking for some. I've spoken to some people, experts on NFTs, actually on my channel. I've got a few talks about that. But as far as what projects are going to do well, I still haven't built a model for how I can evaluate that for myself.
Yeah, I'm in a little bit of a fortunate position because on the Cardano Hotel podcast, we also interviewed a couple of projects that were making NFTs, and some of them were kind enough to actually send us some NFTs over, you know. So I do have like a small collection of NFTs in my wallet. What's also great is that we had the meetup, the Golden Meetup here in Barcelona, and some people not only send us NFTs to exposure in the hotel, but they also send the physical artwork. So several artists are now exposing what then became NFTs, like digital, here in the hotel. So when you come and visit the Cardano Hotel, you can walk around, and they probably have like a QR code on it. So when you scan the QR code on the physical artwork, it connects you with where they are selling the NFTs. So in a way, we have like an exposition center, you know, in our meetup room of various artists, and more are coming. So yeah, it's quite magical what's happening here.
Yeah, it's a bit hard to grasp because of its non-physical nature, but when you start to understand how tokenization is basically going to take over everything in our lives, then it starts to make sense. Like, why shouldn't everything be labeled with some value, all right, whatever that might be?
Yes.
So, but I'd love to have an NFT, CNFT person, a kind of Cardano NFT person, come on the Cardano and Coffee show at some point to talk to us about the upcoming projects. For those of us who are interested in making money with NFTs, buying them low, selling them high, or holding on to them, there's actually a whole new world of NFT financing, NFT finance coming to us. It's already out there. Actually, you can borrow and lend value against your NFTs. So I'm looking forward to the first project on Cardano to be able to implement that.
There's a couple of people that I know, like I said, through our hotels, through the interaction. I can tell you later, you know, on private channels, but I think one is called CNFT Cult. There's also CNFT Pro. CNFT Pro TG is like the Twitter handle. There's Cardano Mermaids, who are very approachable. They're the minting platform. There's a whole bunch of them, you know, so you won't have any problems in connecting with people. I mean, they're all there and they're all happy to help.
Let's talk about price predictions for 2021 and 2022. Let's do two price predictions for two different cryptocurrencies. The first price prediction will be Cardano by the end of 2021 and then Cardano by the end of 2022. Or maybe we should limit that to just the first quarter of 2022. So we're talking about 6 months out from now, basically.
Right.
And then Bitcoin end of 2021 and then end of first Q1 of 2022. Go for it.
My gut feeling?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I mean, I just go by whatever I read on social media and whatever I understand, which is very little, you know, close to nothing from how crypto markets work. Okay, presuming that everything goes according to plan and as everybody's hoping, that might be a big bull run coming up in the last quarter of this year. So let's say Bitcoin prediction by the end of this year. $75,000. And Cardano, I'm hoping that we're going to reapproach the all-time high, which, if I'm not mistaken, is around $3.40, 20. I can't remember exactly. So if we hit $3, I think that's really cool. Then 3 months later, who's to know? I mean, it's so far away. I mean, in crypto terms, it's like a lifetime. But I always tend to look at it on the bright side of things. So let's just go for it. Bitcoin, 100, like around 100,000, and Cardano, $4.20.
I like it. Very good. So this has been a great episode with Alfred, the owner of the Cardano Hotel. This is Cardano and Coffee. I'm Mustafa, the host of the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next Cardano and Coffee episode. Thanks.